You are tuned in to the Empowerment Hour podcast, your digital global classroom where individuals across all ages, backgrounds, and career levels tune in for guidance and motivation to live life on their own terms. It's where inspiring thought leaders, modern-day influencers, and social game changers come to discuss their own personal journeys and have real conversations about the journey to success. I am your host, Nancy Ruffin, and every week I bring you raw and unfiltered conversations about the obstacles we all encounter, the times we felt like giving up, and the things that keep us forging forward. It's where passion and purpose intersect. So if you're ready to start living on purpose, then you're in the right place. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the Empowerment Hour podcast. I am your host, Nancy Ruffin, and you are tuned in to the #1 personal development self-help podcast on these internet streets. Yes, you are. And if you did not know, now you know. Make sure you pass it on and tell somebody. Let them know what they're missing every single week here at the Empowerment Hour, as I commit to bringing you just the best of the best. And whether that's information from myself or just others that I have on who come to share their stories, know that every single week when you're tuning in, you are getting honest, transparent, unfiltered stories from the people who have lived them. This week has been nothing less than busy for me, as it is every single week. You guys know I juggle like 1,000 things at a time, but you know what? How else am I going to build my media empire, right? If I'm not working and constantly focused on the things that I need to do in order to get me there. But when you take that, coupled with the fact that I'm also a wife and a mom and a sister and a friend and hold down a 9 to 5, yes, it can sometimes get overwhelming, but you know what? I'm a woman. That's what we were built for. Right? We can do it all. We may not be able to do it all at the same time, but you know what? You break things down little by little, you prioritize, and by the end of the week, you take a step back and you'll see that 99.9 of the things that you set for yourself, if you are committed, you can accomplish them. And so this week was a little bit extra busy for me because, as you guys know, last Wednesday was Halloween, and so even though I took the day off of work, it was non-stop running around for me from the minute I woke up. It's difficult when you have 2 kids. Trying to juggle back and forth to the various events that are happening at each of their schools is exhausting. And that was what I found myself doing on Wednesday. I woke up super early to get my youngest ready for school, had to drop her off, then had to drop the oldest off at school, but then had to head back to the little one's school for her Halloween parade that was happening at 9 o'clock. Then from there, I had to head back to my oldest school to pick her up for lunch, one to feed her, and then to dress her up for her Halloween parade. So really what I did on Halloween was drive back and forth between the 2 damn schools. And then afterwards, I had the opportunity to walk up and down, these New Jersey streets, trick-or-treating, collecting pounds and pounds of candy so that my kids can get cavities, basically. But these are the things that we do for our children, right? We sacrifice, and as long as they're happy, we're happy. So that was Wednesday. Then when we talk about the weekend was really jam-packed for me, because on Saturday, I attended a baby shower for a really good friend of mine. Her and her husband are expecting their first child on Valentine's Day, And this was a baby that they prayed for over 2 years. And then finally this year, God blessed them with a beautiful baby girl. And so on Saturday, that's where my husband and I were. We spent the day with the soon-to-be parents and some of their closest friends. It was pretty dope. I have to say that this was not a regular baby shower, not the ones that I'm used to anyway. They had it at Philippe Chow in Manhattan, and it was, real exclusive, honey. Yes, it was. The food was delicious. The event planner did a really great job, keeping the guests entertained. The decor was absolutely beautiful. The details were amazing. And so I'm just really super excited for them. Can't wait to meet the new baby, in February. And then on Sunday, I had an opportunity to celebrate my push day. Yes, November 4th was when I gave birth to my baby girl, Alexa. We just celebrated her 3rd birthday, and she is just a ball of, I don't know, she's like a firecracker, energy. This kid really has a mind of her own. At 3 years old, she is super confident, very vocal. She's super, super smart, independent, and she has no problem challenging authority. I will tell you that. She is constantly challenging her dad and myself. And sometimes it's kind of frustrating because I don't know how to parent this kind of child. With my oldest, she is very much by the book. She's very respectful. If I tell her not to do something, she doesn't do it. I very rarely have to raise my voice. If I ask her once, she pretty much listens. She's an even keel type of individual. Whereas Alexa is not that. She does not understand nor comprehend what the word no means, or maybe she does understand it, but she ignores when we tell her no. She thinks that we're joking with her and that everything is a game. And even when I'm really stern and serious and I'm like in my grown-up voice, like, Alexa, no, you can't do that, she just looks at me like I'm speaking a foreign language. She laughs and then kind of turns away, and it's like I have no idea how to parent her. And then the majority of the time, the things that she does are so funny that I really have to compose myself and hold myself back from laughing, because then I'm going to make it worse. So for those of you who have children or had children at this age that were like this, how did you deal? Please let me know. I don't know how to discipline her. She just has a mind of her own. But we celebrated her birthday this weekend, and it was amazing. It's just, when you think about the blessing of children and the huge miracle that is, when you think about the fact that two perfect strangers can come together, right? And through the act of love, create another human being. It's insane to me. Like, when I sit and really just think about what that is, it's like, wow, how people can't believe in God. When you think about children and the gift of life, it's really beyond me. Like, how can we explain that? And I don't want to hear about science. I get science, but there's just some things that science can't explain. And childbirth, I think, is one of those things. I think that it really is just a miracle from God, and one that I have been incredibly blessed to experience, not once, but twice. And I don't take it for granted, because there was a time when I didn't think I was ever going to have children. I struggled, getting pregnant the first time, and my husband and I had to, undergo seeing a fertility specialist and really be very focused and dedicated, to making a baby. For some people, it is a really simple process, right? Some people, you look at them, boom, they get pregnant. It wasn't that easy for me. And so when I look at my children, I I am in awe of the miracle of their lives and how I have been chosen specifically to be the mother of these two amazing, beautiful little girls. And it's something that I never take for granted. Being a mother is my greatest role. It is the job that I take the most seriously. Nothing comes before my children. In fact, everything I do is for them, but I do not allow the other things that I'm working on to ever interfere with my children, my time with them, the attention that I give them. It's really important for you women, especially because we are, for the most part, are the primary parents. And I know that there are times when the dads are, but for women, when we are the primary parent and when we're also pursuing our goals and our dreams and really trying to create a life for ourselves and to create a better life for our children, it's really easy to get caught up in the work and then use the excuse that we're doing it for our children. But I will tell you that you have to set boundaries on your work no matter what, because if you don't, you are going to miss out on some really critical and important milestones in your children's lives. And you don't want that, because once the time has passed, you can never get that time back. And I don't care how successful you become. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care, how big your business grows. If you miss out on these important milestones in your children's career, all of that success really becomes meaningless and pointless. And at least for me, it does, because I don't want success unless I can have my family there to share it with. And if I am not paying attention to my family, if I'm not putting them first, then they're never going to feel like they matter or that they matter as much as my business. And so I always need for them to know that they are first, everything else is secondary, and so while I do focus a lot on my business and on my side hustle and on my writing and my podcast, all of that happens after I have taken care of my children, after my responsibility to them has been met, and a lot of times when I record my podcast is when they're in bed. I don't do any of this stuff while they're awake, because while they're awake, they need mommy. And I need to make sure that they know and that they understand that they have my undivided attention. And so if I have any advice for you parents, is that you always want to make sure that your children know unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, that nothing, absolutely nothing, comes before them. Not your work, not what you're passionate about, not your businesses, not your friends, nothing. They should always know and feel like they are your number one priority, because that's exactly how it should be. And so to kind of shift gears a little bit, one thing that I was really looking forward to this weekend was the changing of the time. Yes, we got an extra hour. We got an extra hour. Ooh, 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 ooh. How many of you guys enjoyed that extra hour of sleep? Whew. Lord knows I did, because I do not get enough sleep as it is. So pushing that clock back 1 hour really, really, really helped me. I woke up this morning just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, honey. Yes, I am ready to conquer the world, because I have all of this energy as a result of just getting that 1 extra hour sleep. It's crazy, right? When you think about the concept of time, an hour really isn't that long, 60 minutes. But man, when it comes to sleep, an hour really does make a difference. And so I talk about this because I want to really talk a little bit about this season that we have transitioned to. Like, we're in the midst of fall. It's one of my favorite seasons, for a number of reasons. Just because I really enjoy the cool, brisk air. that comes during this time. It's not really cold. It's perfect, for sweater and leathers and boots. I mean, you don't have to really pile on too many layers, but if you have on, a nice sweater, a little leather jacket, a nice scarf, you're good to go. You can be outside. You can actually enjoy Mother Nature. And on last week's podcast, I was talking a little bit about how we tend to compare ourselves, to other people that may be doing what we're doing, and how it may feel like we're being looked past, or like people aren't noticing us. And what I mentioned was that everything has its timing, right? So just because the next person is a little farther ahead than you are, should not make you feel as if your work is not as valuable, right? Because everything is in its time. And so this might be your harvest period, your season of harvest. And when I think about the fall, that is really what I tend to think about. And as I was thinking about what I wanted to talk this week about on the podcast, I really wanted to talk about the fall and just the seasons, and how each season is really a different period of change for us, and how we can apply the concepts of the seasons changing, to our own personal lives. And so when we think about the fall and we think about a lot of the things that happen during the fall, well, we know that this is the time where animals are preparing for the winter, right? And so they're storing their food. They're preparing to kind of hibernate, right? We know that the bears hibernate in the winter. They're nowhere to be found. We know that farmers are also working their fall harvest, and they're, collecting their reserve of crops. During this time, we also, tend to spend a lot of time indoors. We revel in, different kinds of foods. This is like pumpkin and spice season. And, the fall really offers us a chance to reconnect with ourselves as we preserve our safe havens, right? So we make sure that our homes are nice and cozy for the fall and winter seasons, because we spend a lot of time indoor during these seasons. And so as summer morphs into autumn, and as we transition into this fall period, we also start to exercise a lot more self-care, in that we start to, wear more protective layers, thicker fabrics. We also tend to focus more on our health, right? So, I don't know how many of you guys get vaccinated, but once this time of year comes around, it's that big push, for getting the flu shot. It's flu season. And so even if you don't get vaccinated, you still kind of prep yourself to not get sick, right? So you might eat certain foods. You might be, much more aware of the things that you're eating. You're washing your hands more. You're being more mindful about not being around people who are sick. So really the fall represents a period where your awareness is heightened. And not just of your surroundings, but really of yourself, and how you are taking care of yourself during the fall and winter seasons. And, this season is also prime time for wanting to be with the ones that you love. I know that for me, I love this time of the year because, I'm drinking a lot of hot chocolate. I want to be cuddled up and snuggled up under my husband. It's great for those Netflix and chill nights where, the kids are asleep and we're laid up, in the living room on the sofa, just watching a great movie. And so, for me, it just I visualize just, a serene and snug space, to be with myself and to be with my loved ones. And one other thing that I really wanted to talk about this season and what it represents is the symbolism that lies in the theme of letting go, right? When we think about letting go, we see that the trees begin to lose their leaves, right? So like right now, this moment, this stage is my absolute favorite because, all through my neighborhood, you will see these just beautiful, beautiful colors of leaves on these trees. There you see the beautiful hues of red and yellow and orange, and all of that, they're transitioning, right, from the green leaves of summer to these autumn leaves, and then to ultimately just falling, and then the trees become barren, right, for the winter time, and there's no leaves at all. And so as we come to kind of the end of the year, what are some of the things that we should be letting go in our own lives, right? How should we be making space in our lives, in our bodies? How should we become barren, in our physicality, so that we're prepared, right? And so when we talk about the fall and the beauty of letting go, what are some things that you need to let go, right? Things that are unproductive. Do you find yourself just spending hours and hours and hours of time on social media? Instagram had a recent update where now it tracks your screen time. And I will tell you that this has really made me more mindful of the amount of time that I was spending on social media. Because when I first looked, I think on average I was spending like 5 hours a day on social media, specifically on Instagram. That is insane. And I didn't even realize that it was that many hours. But when you think about, the time that I spent commuting to work, commuting from work, lunch breaks, or just mini breaks throughout my day, like all of that time adds up. And I did not realize that I was spending that much time on Instagram. And so for me, that really kind of brought me back to reality. And so now I'm more mindful and I'm spending less time and I'm filling that time doing more productive things. And so, I'm part of a book club and I've kind of fallen off a little bit because I haven't been keeping up with the readings of my book club. However, I did start reading again. And so now I'm reading this book. I think it's called 3 Feet from Gold. I can't remember the author at the moment, but the book, my brother-in-law gave it to me. It's a personal development book, self-help book. And it is such a good read. If you guys really want to read a book on success and stories from, different people that have, that are successful, this is a great book and it has so many great gems in it. I've been jotting stuff down nonstop since I started reading it. But when we talk about letting go, let go of unproductive things that are sucking the life out of you, things that are sucking the time from you, and use that time to shift it, right, towards more productive things, to those goals that you're going to set come January, right? So this is the time where you should be letting go of all your unproductive behaviors, all of your unproductive habits, refocusing, your mind, letting go of negative thoughts, of any negative feelings that you've been harboring. All of this stuff takes up space, guys. It takes up space in your body, in your mind. You become physically, these things have an effect on how you think, on how you feel, on the actions that you take and don't take. So you have to start being mindful of these things. And so for this period between November and December, this is the things that you should be focusing on, right? Doing kind of a pulse check on these unproductive things that you've allowed to take over your life, for all of this time. Also, what you should be letting go is kind of reevaluating your circle, reevaluating the people in your life, and you have to, unfortunately, there are times where you're going to have to cut ties with some people who have probably been by your side since day one. But the truth is that sometimes those very same people are the people that are holding you back from being great and from really getting to that next level, in your life, in your career, in your business, in school, in whatever it is that you're focusing on. If you don't have the right people around you, they are going to be a hindrance to your success. And it's going to be painful. I'm not going to lie and sugarcoat it and say that it's easy. It's hard to let go of people that have been a part of your life for a really long time. And you may not have to let them go, but you might have to distance yourself from them if you really want to propel into that next phase or that next level in your life. Because it ain't it. Sometimes, it is what it is. As much as we love people, sometimes they are not what's best for us. And a lot of times, those people hold you back because they have no dreams or ambitions of their own. And when they don't have that, they can't even conceptualize what it is that you're trying to do. And those are the most dangerous people to have around you, because they will only continue to feed into those moments when you doubt yourself, those moments when you feel like giving up, those moments when you're questioning yourself. Those people are going to add fuel to that fire because they don't have anything of their own. They can't understand what it is that you're doing. And so, they're going to convince you to give up on yourself, to give up on your dream. That's why you have to be very mindful on who you have by your side. Let go of these people that are weighing you down. Let go of bad habits. Let go of limiting mindsets. When you get those thoughts in your head that tell you can't, or that it's impossible, or when you start to doubt yourself, you have to be mindful of that voice, and you have to immediately counter that with I can, I am equipped, I am enough, I am purposeful, I am powerful, and even if I don't know how to get to that next step, I trust that God is going to show me the way. I trust that God is going to provide the resources. I trust that God is going to open the door. He is going to connect me with the people that I need to be connected to. He is going to make a way where I don't see a way. That is how you start to shift that mindset. And even if you don't believe it right now, I encourage you to write it on a Post-it. Write it on 10 Post-its and post it in your bathroom, post it in your bedroom, post it in your office, post it in your wallet, post it on your iPhone or on your phone screen or wherever it is that you're constantly looking at, so that every time you turn somewhere, you can see this. And it will be embedded into your psyche until you start to believe what you are saying. Let go of bad behaviors, things that do not support your best self. Let that ish go. Let go of your excuses. All right. Stop making excuses. Just do it. Excuses are for losers. Are you a loser? No. Right? So stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. Take control of your life. Take control of your destiny. Go out there and do what you say you're going to do. Even if you don't know how it's going to get done. What did I just say? You're going to trust in God, right? God is going to lead you. You know why? Because God is never going to put a dream in your heart, a desire in your heart, without also giving you the means and the resources to make it happen. But you have to trust. You have to follow your heart. You have to follow your gut, and you have to trust. Pay attention to the signs around you. Pay attention to the people who are being positioned in your life to help get you to that next level. And sometimes, You're not going to be able to see that person because you're holding on to these old people, to these negative people, to these people that are just trying to bring you down. So you let go of those old people. You make room for the new people that are going to elevate you towards your purpose. Okay? Let's talk about grudges. Let go of grudges. That person who did you wrong 10 years ago that you still mad about, that you see on Instagram and you be like, what up? Let that go. Let it go. Let it go. Like Frozen. Let it go. These petty beefs, let them go. I see what's happening. Are you guys paying attention to this stupid 50 Cent and Ja Rule beef? They're going back and forth, posting these stupid memes. Like, these are grown men in their 40s, or at least in their 40s, because I'm 41 and we all came up about the same time. And they're going back and forth like children. Okay, men who have been successful in their own right. And here they are spending time going back and forth. Like, who the heck got time to do that? Like, it boggles my mind. Don't let that be you. All right, let go of these petty beefs that are not doing anything for you. It just makes you look foolish, to be honest. Because I'm looking at these two men and I'm like, you guys look like two damn fools going back and forth, posting stupid ass memes. Whatever. Let go of these beefs. Let go of these grudges. Let go of misunderstandings, because all of this just stirs up negative energy in your body. You don't want to be holding on to that. And the more that you hold on to that, the more power you give that other person, because they are controlling your feelings and your reaction, and they're taking up space in your mind. That's crazy to me. Like, I used to be one of those people. I used to be proud to say I was petty. All right. I was proud to be like, yes, I'm a clap back because I'm not going to let anybody get the best of me. I don't want them to think I'm soft. But you know what? I realized that was just taking up so much of my time and energy, and it wasn't making me feel good. It was not growing me. It was not teaching me anything. It wasn't elevating me in my business, in my personal life, in nothing. It was just negative energy taking up space for no reason at all. And once I realized that, and I had a chance to step back, and I'm like, what am I really holding on to? And as soon as I let it go and I released it, I just felt a huge weight off my shoulders, because now I no longer cared. And so when you don't care about anything, these things don't bother you. You don't have to hold on to the grudge anymore because you let it go. And it's like, it's not worth it, and so let it go. If it is not making you money, if it is not making you a better person, let that ish go. So before I go and before I end this week's podcast, I need to remind you guys that tomorrow is election day. Do you hear me? It is election day, and I need you to get your asses out into the polls and vote. And take everyone in your household who is 18 and over and registered to vote with you. Take your abuelita with you, right? Even if she does not understand, you help her. Help them. We have to be the support for each other. We have to take this country back, okay? Because we are headed down a very dangerous path with Trump and his supporters. And I will be damned if I allow all of the work that our ancestors fought for be in vain. Do you understand me? So I need you to get your ass out into the poll booth on Tuesday and vote. And so on that note, mi gente, thank you for rocking with me for another week. Thank you for just being a loyal listener. If you have not yet subscribed to the podcast, please do so. If this episode resonated with you, please leave me a comment, shoot me a DM, give us a rating on Apple Podcasts, and share us. Share us with your friends. Share the link, on your Facebook feed, on your Instagram, tweet about it. Email your friends and be like, hey, check out this podcast. It's really dope. If you need inspiration or motivation, check out my girl, Nancy Ruffin. She's the real deal. All right. That's how we do. I depend on you guys. I absolutely adore you. I am grateful for you. So just please Continue to listen, continue to support, continue to share. And until next time, mi gente, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and go out there and crush those goals.